Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned into Your Stocks, coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Markets where we left it, right at 130. 25,000 around that mark is what the Nifty is managing to hold on to. Sensex at 82,000 is what we're watching out at. 82,300 levels, just about that mark is what the Sensex is trading at. Underperformance also coming in from the Bank Nifty today as well. Not much of a green there. So Bank Nifty as of now is down 0.05%. Keep an eye out on that. Outperformance from the mid and small cap that continues even in today's trading session. Mid cap trading at the day's highest point as of now. Small cap too is trading at the day's highest point. Advance decline ratio clearly even in the favor of advances versus decline that we've seen coming in. But this is a show where we solve all your stock related queries, and that's what we're going to be doing. We have our independent expert Shahina Mukadam joining in with us, as well as Vaishali Parekh, Vice President Technical Research, Prabhudas Lilladher, to solve all your stock-related queries. Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you so much for joining in with us, as always. Vaishali, before we get to more stocks, let's just take a check in terms of the markets. What are we watching out for? Yesterday, we saw that sharp recovery coming in, right, in the markets in the second half of the trading session. Does it seem like a story that we could watch out for in the last 1.5 hours, or what are we watching out for in terms of levels?
Hi, very good afternoon, Vinny. Yes, so it has been a very good week so far, and we have managed to cross 25,000 levels. So, to my understanding, this rally is to continue. And well, now we will elevate our support levels, which was last week, if we spoke, it was 23,800. And now we elevate our support levels to 24,700 and look for the next projected target of 25,500. So, I guess the rally will continue and we will close well too.
Okay, rally will continue is what you're watching out for. 25,000 above that mark is already what the Nifty is trading at as of now. But let's get on to your stock-related queries then. This first query for today is coming in from Umesh, who's writing to us from Pune. He's holding 200 shares of Viatech Wabag, and this is at a price of 1,300 rupees per share, so making a profit on this one. The other one is Suzlon Energy, 2,000 shares, price is 54 rupees per share, and wants to know whether the long-term outlook on the stocks are still intact. What should they be doing with this? Suzlon Energy also, they're making some bit of a profit on this one. Shaina, let me come to you first. What is your long-term view on both Viatech Wabag as well as in terms of Suzlon Energy?
See, Viatech Wabag, I would say that it's a small cap and it's in a nice niche segment of water treatment with almost half its turnover coming from international markets, half coming domestically. It's a asset-light model and they get good funding like the recent one from the Norwegian markets where they have got Norwegian fund $100 million. So they have got, fundraising capacity on one hand and execution of the projects on the other hand. So it's a smaller company, but they have got good order book. Order book is 13,000 crores, which is, if you look, almost about 3 times their FY25 turnover. So they have got sufficient scope for growth. Valuations are reasonable. So I would say it's a hold for Viatech Wabag. For Suzlon, there the valuations are expensive. While the management has improved the balance sheet quality by reducing debt, selling unnecessary assets which are non-core. Also, they have got a decent order book position which will drive growth. At the same time, I think if you get any upside from here, or even at current levels, I would say it's a switch because valuations are expensive in my view. EV by EBITDA is almost 50 times, and which I think is pretty steep.
Okay. And Vaishali, your view coming in on both these on the technical front, Viatech Wabag as well as Suzlon Energy. What should they be watching out for?
So, Viatech Wabag, I think the long-term trend is very much intact, and currently it is at a very good support level. So, to those who want to buy, I think this is a very good level to buy because technically, if you see, it is a long consolidation right from 1,300 levels to 1,500. So, there will be furthermore clarity and strength seen above 1,500 levels, and this can go towards 1,800 to 2,000. So, I would say it is either you can add more or you can continue holding or buy as well as for the targets that I have been mentioning. And coming to Suzlon, Suzlon also actually is showing signs of reversal, but the near-term target resistance comes at around 65 levels. It's getting into a trend. Again, a good range between 50 and 65. So once we see a clarity, if this stock sustains above 65, then it's ready to go towards target of 72. So I think one can hold with a stop loss.
Okay, hold with the stop loss is what you are highlighting for Suzlon Energy. Let's move on to the next query. Actually, this is an investment query that we have coming in. It's from Lal Bahadur Yadav, who's writing to us from Mumbai. He's looking to invest 1.5 lakh rupees. And this is actually for a short-term time period. China, he wants to know for a 6-month time period, any suitable stock or sector that maybe he could look at and in the current scenario that, could help him in terms of investment for the short term.
Well, I think, the obvious sector, like top of mind is defense. And while the stocks have run up, I still think something like a BL, which I personally also hold, is doing well. And even from here on, if you look at the potential, given the fact that there the execution was a problem, order book is not at all a problem. So if they can move from, one shift to two shift to three shift and meet the demands, like, for example, the missiles, some of them, the components are, provided by BL. So to that extent, I would think that is an obvious sector. Of course, the other ones also over there, like HAL, which, all are not cheap. They are pretty expensive. But at the same time, if you are going to factor in good growth, I think you can look at that sector. I would say banking sector also, to some extent, should participate in the growth in the economy. Like, for example, ICICI Bank, even some of the smaller banks, you could look at adding to your portfolio. So you could have a mix of FMC, you could have a mix of banking, you could have a mix of defense, and some, mid-cap stock related to the capital markets. I think to that extent, you could build a portfolio for the medium to longer term.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, China. And on the technicals, Vaishali, anything that you are finding interesting? The time period is short, right? 6 months. So they want to make, I think, quick money. But anything as an option that looks attractive to you?
Yeah, so actually, technically speaking, I think stocks which have yet got a lot of upside scope. I'm looking at two-wheelers. So, for example, Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto. That also is our recommendation. So, I think it's showing automobile sector on the whole is on a renewed growth. So, I would focus on these two stocks, and along with that, there are capital goods like ABB, Siemens, Cummins. These are the stocks which show potential upside. So, according to me, these are good opportunities to get into these stocks.
Okay, look at those options over there as well. ABB also in among the names coming in. But let's move on to the next query for today. We have Nirav Jain writing to us from Jaipur, holding 500 shares of Inox Wind. Price is 160 rupees. They're making some bit of a profit on this one. They want to know the long-term prospect of the stock. Inox Wind, for you, China, is it still a long-term bet? Should they continue to hold the stock?
Yeah, I personally also have been holding it for some time. So I think the business prospects are good. In fact, this year, FY25, the previous year, was extremely good for the company. They actually turned around from losses in FY24 to starting to make profits. The order book position even currently is pretty strong. They have got more than, I would think, a 3 gigawatt order book position on hand to be executed over the next 2 to 3 years. So potential from here also is good. At the same time, having the stock having run up, I think it's better to hold it with a stop loss, a deep stop loss 150. That would be a good hold, but I would hold it for much higher levels from here.
Okay, hold it for higher levels from here on as well. And Inox Wind for you on the charts and technicals. Vaishali, would you also suggest the viewer continue to hold this one?
I would say so because the stock long-term trend is very bullish, and it's making an attempt to bounce from its support of it has been hovering around 140, and from there on it's taken a good move. So I think in all likelihood this can again go towards 220, 240 levels at least. So I guess these lows that are made in these stocks are all buying opportunity, adding more opportunities. So take your call if you wish to add at 140, 150 zone and hold for the target of 220, 240.
Let's move on to the next query then, and this is on ITC Hotels. Sabaseva Rao is writing to us from Andhra Pradesh. She's holding 100 shares of ITC Hotels. Price is 200 rupees per share. Wants to know the long-term prospect of the stock. So obviously, most people have also gotten it when they were holding ITC. So the demerger happened, they got ITC Hotels. China, ITC Hotels for you. Does it merit to hold ITC Hotels, or are there other better hotel stocks that they could look for a long-term story?
So I'm one of those investors who got it even as part of the demerger from ITC as well as added on later. We got it at decent levels. So today I think is a day where a lot of my stocks from my portfolio are coming up. So I am positive. At the same time, see, we saw the numbers that came out. They reported decent set of numbers with a 20% inline profit growth. Margins were slightly better. Revenue was about 5% higher. So they have got a good pipeline of projects that are on hand. In fact, they're talking of doubling their number of rooms. They've got about 13 keys, so 13,000 keys. So they're talking of doubling it over the next 5 years. Already have announced a new project in AP along with the results. Valuations is about, if you look at FY27, it's about 20 times EV by EBITDA FY27. So I would not say it is cheap at current levels. Still, I would say it's a add at every dips. You could just add it and keep it in your portfolio for the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely, Shahina. So, all the stocks that you are holding also are trading in the green. So, you're going to be treating me and Vaishali, right? Today it's Friday. We are ready to come whenever you call us. We are ready for the treat. But, Vaishali, your view on ITC Hotels. I know in terms of charts, there's not enough. But any view that you have for this one?
Sure. So it is in a trend, of course, and whatever data I have, I think the near-term target one can look at is at least 220. From there on, we can have a relook because chartically it is showing a lot of strength from whatever limited data I have. It can go towards 220, 240 would be the next target. So continue holding.
Okay, continue holding the one. 240 is the target also that one could watch out for ITC Hotels. Next query for today is coming from Ram Kumar, who's writing to us from Mumbai. Holding 100 shares of PNB, price is 138 rupees is what they bought it at. Currently, the stock is trading at 99. He wants to know if he should continue to hold or maybe book his losses now. PNB, your view, Shahina, coming in, do you think there are better banks that they could look at other than not private, but even in a PSU side that they could look at?
Well, yeah, I mean, see, of course, private sector banks, if you look at the very long term, I would prefer. But at the same time, PNB by itself is a hold at current levels because valuations are not expensive. If you look at price to book, it's just about 0.83 times, which is not expensive. The results were out, last week, and the results were pretty decent. So we saw 15% growth in the credit. And while NIMs were slightly softer, they have got sufficient provision coverage of close to about 90%. So I would say it's a hold at current levels.
Okay, hold at current levels. And Vaishali, your view coming in for PNB on the charts, does it merit holding it still for some bit more of the time?
Definitely, because on charts too, it is showing signs of revival. And of course, it's lagging behind as far as the other PSU banks are concerned. But I think it can go towards 110 to 115 near term. So my view is to hold and look for these targets at least.
Okay. View is to hold from both our experts for PNB. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, viewers. And here's some good news coming in for you all. Our India's business news leader is now a click away. You can, introducing CNBC TV18's all-new app, get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV18 app now from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or you can scan the QR code on your screens. Welcome back to Your Stocks on CNBC TV18. A quick check in terms of Vodafone Idea. Now, what we're seeing and what sources are saying that Vodafone Idea cautioned government without its support, company cannot operate beyond FY26. Vodafone Idea says that without government support, it will have to go to NCLT for insolvency. In case of no support, government stakes value will go to nil. Government will have no recovery on 1.18 lakh crore of spectrum dues without its support. So that's a big update that we're picking up from a Vodafone Idea. So keep an eye out on that one in today's trading session and going forward as well in terms of the updates that we pick up on that front. But let's keep it going with more of your stock-related queries. Let's move on to the next query for today. MG Kapoor is writing to us from Mumbai, holding 100 shares of Bajaj Auto at a price of 1,140 rupees per share. So they're holding it for a long time, as well as they have Tata Technologies, 300 shares at 1,130 rupees per share. Now, they want to know whether to continue to hold at the current levels or look to sell. Shahina, your view coming in for Bajaj Auto, right? They've been holding it since levels of 1,140 to now, today 8,000 and above that mark. What should they be doing with Bajaj Auto and Tata Tech also? What's your view?
So Bajaj Auto, since the buying price was very good, I think he can continue to hold, keep a stop loss, so that if there is any major dip, he does not lose too much in terms of profits. At the same time, I think they are losing. Bajaj Auto is losing market share, and to an extent, I think the numbers in the next couple of quarters are likely to be subdued. There's a lot of competition coming in, so I would hold it as of now because valuations are not too expensive, 20 times FY27 EPS, I mean P. So to that extent, one can continue to hold with a stop loss. Tata Technologies also, in my view, is pretty expensive. So I would say it's a switch, but it is showing some good bounce. And while it is more expensive in terms of the other large cap IT stocks, they have some other segments that are likely to do well in addition to auto, which is starting to again look up after the tariff settlement. They have got in aerospace, in the aeronautical space, some good projects. So I would say there also you can hold both these stocks, hold them with stop losses.
Okay, hold them with stop losses is what you're saying. Vaishali, your view coming on both these stocks as well, Bajaj Auto as well as Tata Tech. And Bajaj Auto, do you merit that, some bit of a profit booking is fine given that they've made so much money? And Tata Tech, like, Shahina was also highlighting, in the last 1 month specifically, we are seeing that bounce back after it not performing for a very long time. So your view?
No, indicators in Bajaj Auto, I think it's coming out of its oversold zone, and it's also making an attempt to come above the cluster of moving averages, so which implies that this stock can do 9,500 levels. But for that, I would say always disciplined trading is always required. So 8,000 should be taken as a stop loss. So that would be my view. I think the bounce is quite likely. And the other stock you mentioned is sorry.
Tata Technologies.
Yes, so Tata Technology also technically it's showing a good comeback in this bounce, and I think keep a stop loss of 720. This can go even as a short-term perspective. This can go towards 800, 820. So in my opinion, both are good buying opportunities, favorable risk-reward ratios.
Favorable risk-reward ratio for Tata Tech, you mentioned 820 levels also is what one could watch out for. So keep an eye out on that one. Next query for today is coming from Jacob, who is writing to us from Kerala. He asks if it's a good time to buy Tata Power at the current levels. Tata Power, your view coming in on this one, Shahina?
Yes, in my view, you could look to add Tata Power at current levels. The numbers were pretty good. Valuations also not expensive. EV by EBITDA, it's about 9 times, and price to book is about 3 times. They are doing pretty well in the RE space. Their cell manufacturing capacity is coming up well and will be on stream. It's already on stream, but in terms of addition to turnover and profitability will be more over the next year. And Orissa is doing well for them in discoms. They are likely to expand into that vertical also going forward with, looking at any new discoms that will be available for them to enter into. So I think it's a good stock to be in for the long term.
Okay. Good stock to be in for the long term. That's the view coming in on the fundamentals. On the technicals, Tata Power, does it merit entering the stock right now?
I would say so because it's come out of its consolidation and a tough resistance of 400. So in my opinion, accumulate the stock between the band of 380 to 410 and look for higher targets of 480 to 500 from here on. So accumulation would be my idea for getting into this stock.
Okay, that's a view coming in on Tata Power. Let's move on to another Tata Group company. This query is on TCS. We have Anil Kumar, who's writing to us from Trivandrum. He's holding 100 shares of TCS at a price of 3,930 rupees per share, making a loss on this one. Wants to know if he should actually look to average and add some more at these levels or look to sell and get out of the stock. Shahina, what is your view coming in for TCS? Commentary hasn't been that great from these large cap IT companies so far this time. So what should one be watching out for now from these large cap IT companies, and should they look to average or sell?
I would say you just sit on it as of now. I would not suggest averaging immediately. The fourth quarter numbers were pretty disappointing, well, except for the fact that they had very good deal wins, and these deal wins were much better than what we all expected. So let the U.S. market, in terms of the market, settle down in terms of how it will evolve over the next couple of quarters, and then you could add. But I would still say that TCS is a long-term investment, so you can continue to hold.
Long-term investment continue to hold. So yes, keeping an eye out on that. Vaishali, your view coming in for TCS, as a whole, does it merit holding TCS, or mid-cap IT names is the trend, or what is your view? Averaging, is that an option right now for TCS?
According to me, everything is quite cyclical, and TCS, I mean, it is already given a good bounce from its low. So I would say wait for a furthermore dip. 3,200, 3,300 is a technical level that one can look at re-entering the stock. And I guess this will go when the IT sector shows a confirmed turnaround. We will be seeing a good upward move coming towards 4,200, 4,400, and along with that, of course, the mid cap like the Persistent and Coforge, all these are doing very well. KPIT. So I guess one should not be just focusing on a stock. It's better to have good quality stocks in a particular sector.
Absolutely. Not just one stock. Look at, the basket also of stocks that are there in a sector as well. The next query for today is coming from Sharayana, Mohan, who's writing to us from Coimbatore. She's holding 225 shares of Prestige Estate. Price is 1,166 rupees per share. Currently, obviously, she's making some bit of a profit on this one. Wants to know the future prospect of the Prestige Estate. Shahina, your view for Prestige Estate. Just recent announcement had also come in that they acquired some land in Ghaziabad and for some township project as well. So projects are continuing. So what are you watching out for in terms of the outlook for Prestige?
The outlook is pretty strong. See, actually, third quarter numbers were very disappointing. So we saw that huge crack in stock price on back of that. Subsequently, one is on basis of these new orders new projects that you also spoke about, plus the existing projects that are likely to contribute in a big way, both in Bangalore, Mumbai, in the starting fourth quarter, and going on into next year. They've got huge projects on hand, and also in terms of fundraise, they have got some. There is, I would say, the IPO for their hospitality segment could result in some, value unlock for Prestige Estates in terms of getting some cash from the IPO, and that would actually go to fund their growth. So I would say it's a hold at current levels, and you could look for good growth going forward in the next couple of quarters.
Okay, good look for good growth. Hold right now is what the view is coming in on the fundamentals. Technicals, Vaishali, what's your view coming in for Prestige Estate? 6 months, 1 year, not anything exciting in terms of an up move or a return that we've seen, right? So now, do you think on the charts, or is it an indication that maybe we could see some up move?
Yes, it is in a trending mode, but actually, I'm not too sure if I would look at these stocks for a long-term perspective. I would really go step by step. So right now, it is in a trending mode, and it is having a resistance at 1550. So that is a level to look out for. Once we see a decisive move above 1550, then it surely confirms an uptrend going towards 1800 levels. So that is how I would deal with this stock. I have a disciplined trading strategy.
Okay. That is the view coming in on Prestige Estate. But that was the last query for today, ladies. Thank you so much for joining in with us as always, Shahina as well as Vaishali. And hope you have a great weekend. And viewers, thank you so much for tuning in as well. Hope you all have a great weekend as well. And remember, you can always write to us and email us your queries, and we will address them with our experts. But that's all the time we have. Up next, we have Closing Bell to take you through the last hour of trade, so don't go anywhere.